Well, I screwed up. I know, shocker. Hey everybody, my name's Josh and welcome to my shop. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by again. Today's video is going to be on hopefully fixing with minimal damage my screw up of swamping that thing. You could probably tell by the video prior that this thing didn't exactly drive in here on its own power. Last night I went up through the snowmobile trail with my kid, just give him a quick little ride around and back. And we found that the beavers decided to dam up out behind our house where the brook is. And we've been through there before when it's been dammed up, but apparently they built a bigger dam. So the water ended up getting up probably to around there on this guy here, which the air intake for the motor, I can't see it here, but it's not too far underneath there. So this usually does pretty well through water, and what happened is it does tend to stall occasionally. So if it's just sitting there idling, it will tend to stall out and then usually fire right back up. Well, what happened was we kind of got to the middle of the bog there, and you know, my kid was having a great time, and so I slowed down a little bit so he could kind of look around. I could point down to him, and then the thing stalled. And as soon as it stalled, the bubbling from the back muffler there, the bubbling stopped. And in a frantic moment, I was like, oh, I can get it really quick. So I tried to start it really quick to get it going again so he can then in turn blow all the water out the back. And apparently I was way too late. So yeah, I messed up. Pretty bad. So this unfortunately sat most of the night without me doing anything other than just kind of draining out in its whatever holes and crevices there was. So we're gonna take a look at what we got here, and I can tell you right now what little glimpse I just got is not too promising. Oh yeah. So that is definitely soaked. Peel that right back. Yeah. So that is not a good sign, because where it goes into the engine is up in that area there. So we got some stuff to do here. So I do have the lift, which is going to make this a little bit easier getting underneath it to pull the drains. But what we need to do is drain the oil out, clean that out. I need to take the spark plug out of it and allow that to get any relief of pressure. Take a look inside the spark plug hole and kind of see what the inside looks, see if the plug is wet. Drain the oil, drain the clutch. At the end of this, we'll end up obviously changing all the fluids in this. And hopefully by the end of this, I do not end up having a bent rod or something terrible like that. Wonderful. So one of the first things I'm going to do here is take off this skid pan underneath so I can get a little better access to all of the drains. Like there's the front diff. There, I'm assuming is the oil, and then get some of this debris and stuff out of here. So these are all T30 Torxes, and I'll go ahead and zip them off really quick. also need to get to the bottom of that cover, which I'm hoping there's a drain somewhere underneath that I can drain some of that water out. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this skid pan off of here as well. I've had to do some reinforcements here, you could tell, which one of them's already been bunged up a little bit, but so I'm gonna have to go ahead and take that off, and that way I can at least get a better look underneath where that belt housing is. So I see two potential drains here. You got one, which is the obvious one, which is right here. And then another one looks like it is right there. So I'm not exactly sure which is which. It's been a while. I'm assuming that this big one there would be the oil, and then that little one would be maybe to drain any water out. But I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter which one I pull right now. It's gonna get water out. So we'll have those there. This is a breather tube here for the belt. So that's another thing that I could take off for the clutch area. I have had an issue before where something went up and actually hit that right there and knocked it off, and then I sucked a bunch of water in. Looks like something else hit there too. So we'll pull those off and see what kind of water comes out. I'm assuming whatever comes out, I'm gonna start with a small one here, because whatever comes out of this, I'm assuming is gonna be water. So I'm gonna put that into this container here and not necessarily my oil drain bucket. That is a long bolt. Congratulations, Josh. You're an idiot. That other plug that I thought was a plug just ended up being another bolt. I'm just going to go down here where that breather tube was, and which is the lowest point in that clutch area. And obviously there's a bunch of water here, and I'm just going to drain the bulk out from here. Oh yeah, there's water. Let's see just how full this guy is. Oh yeah, she's full. The reason why I'm collecting this is just because I don't have the drains in this shop, and it's a lot easier if I cut the majority of it before I have to squeegee it out. So that is all the water that was in that breathing tube back where the clutches are. So I will drain that other end out too. But yeah, let's do some more water. There's a one-way valve that's supposed to drain out the water without letting extra water in, and that was there, which is right next to that joint that I just undid, and that wasn't working. So I just kind of try to get some of that junk out of there, kind of like that, and then it unplugged and started working fine. So I went ahead and put that back together, and I get that. It's going to do its job. I may have to pull that off anyway, because as you saw in the video, I had to lift the front end of this thing up in order to drive it home. So I may have to take that off there where the air box is and see how wet that is in there. But for now, we're gonna go back up on top. Got a height here. I'm gonna go ahead in the oil fill, take the cap off here, and see exactly what the condition of the oil is. I'm expecting it to be pretty nasty and milky. Oh yeah, I would say that's pretty milky. It's not quite as milky as I expected, but yeah, there's definitely some water in there. So we'll go ahead and we'll drain that out. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna put that back for now. So now that we've gotten the machine back kind of on the ground level here, we have to take this cover from underneath the seat and take all of these screws off in order to access the top of the head. So there is an area right in here where we can go down in and access it that way, but I'm assuming that I'm going to be doing a little bit more than just pulling the plug. So I'm just going to get this cover off and out of the way and make it a little bit easier for myself. I do remember now when I did some of the wiring that I did and changing the battery, when I took this off, because the battery is underneath this section here. When you take this off, you actually have to take the back of the seat off as well in order to allow this little tunnel to come off. So I'll go ahead and do that now. It's just a few bolts. So I'm taking this apart probably a little bit more than I need to do the diagnostics to see how bad it is, but by taking this off, it gives you guys a pretty good view of where everything's laid out and the top. So this right here, actually I'm not really sure what that is because your spark plug boot is right there. So here is where the intake is for the top of the breather for your clutch housing. And then this right here, there's obviously your throttle body. And then in the back here, it has to ramp up over this pretty significant incline here to get from your heater box, your air box, filter box into the intake. So maybe that got in there, maybe it didn't. I don't know, but we're gonna drain that air box out now. And I'm gonna take that plug out. I'm gonna turn it over a few times and we're going to see what comes out of it for moisture. I think the best way to get in here is if you don't do that before you use a drill, or are you even really using a drill? Loosen that guy up. The water is just pouring out of there right now. So I'm not really sure. So there is the other breather. So here, let me show you. Excuse the reach on the camera here. So right here, this tube that starts there goes up underneath over and then down into the air box. There is your air intake. So I was definitely up to that level when we started going in there, but as you can tell by all the moisture and the water around that foam. So I'm going to take that other clamp off, we're going to take this air box off, and we're going to dry this out. All right, I'm starting to run out of time for today, but I at least wanted to get the spark plug out and see if there was any moisture in the cylinder heads itself. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And I would say absolutely. you can see there's moisture there, and also the gap of the spark plug is right down on top, so there is no gap basically. And by looking, I don't know if you can see straight in the hole there, but straight in that hole there is quite a bit of moisture there. So I'm going to turn it over and see what happens. So I try to set the camera up in such a fashion where the spark plug hole is right here, and we're going to go turn the key on. It's in neutral right now, and see how wet I get. Oh yeah, there's water there. There is a lot of water there. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and drain the crankcase. Just to give you an idea of how much water there is and how bad that was. So there you have the hole, and if you pan around, that's the ceiling of my shop. And there, yeah, a little worried. So lifting this up now, and I'm gonna pull the oil drain plug, and we're gonna drain it off and let it sit and drip dry overnight. I'll be back here, well, probably not till next week, because I got a 48 I got to do tonight, or I got to go in for a 48 at the firehouse tonight, and then I'm gone all weekend. So possibly the beginning of next week, I'll keep working on this, and I'll just let it kind of drip out until then. See how yummy this is. So 19 millimeter or 3/4 for the drain plug. Let's pull out a little bit of nasty. So that's pretty yucky. And there's a lot of just straight water, obviously, that started. But we'll let that sit there and just kind of drain out over time. All right, thanks for watching, guys. And I may make this a 1 or 2 part, I'm not sure yet, but